Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Hot.
What a lovely day!
In preparation for next week's King Arthur, The Legend of the Sword, which I've already seen and highly enjoyed, let's venture back to the 60s when Disney took the approach of King Arthur and made it friendly, lighthearted, and a musical. Arthur, called Wart by his adopted father and stepbrother, is overworked by both. Wart is almost like a Cinderella boy, but despite these problems, he remains optimistic and still dreams about being a great warrior and a knight squire. He meets the powerful but clumsy and hilarious wizard named Merlin, who wants to give him an education in culture. Merlin believes that pure strength means nothing when a person has no brain. Together, Merlin and Wart live great adventures, funny moments, and Merlin teaches everything he knows to Wart. This is Disney's animated version of the tale of King Arthur and the Sword in the Stone. I've always been fond of the Renaissance and medieval era. I really enjoy tales like Robin Hood and King Arthur. I don't know too much about them, but something about those characters in that time period. And growing up, I loved watching Robin Hood, any edition of Robin Hood, Sword in the Stone, and movies like Black Cauldron. I just really enjoyed that. And it's fitting to review The Sword in the Stone for this favorite Friday because of King Arthur next week. And watching King Arthur, I really just wanted to watch The Sword in the Stone. I just really wanted to watch it. It is a very hilarious film. Animated movies now deal a lot with like hitting each other and poop jokes, and those take place of plot development. Whereas movies like Sword in the Stone and classic animated Disney movies, they aren't the main point of the film. They are there to have balance and a good storyline. And that's one thing that Sword in the Stone does very well, is balance a really nice story with some emotion to it and some hilarious moments as well. Plus some pretty catchy music. This was never a really popular Disney movie. This was released in the 60s, and it had the classic 60s, 70-ish Disney animated look, similar to movies like 101 Dalmatians. But those animated movies I just really adore. You can tell that there was a lot of care in developing these animated movies. One thing that I truly, truly love, and if anybody asks me like 50 years from now, one of the most memorable movie sequences in any movie and anything in movie history, one of my favorite things is the opening sequence for a lot of the classic Disney movies, where you have the book and it slowly opens. It has a nice charming musical score going for it, and they tell you about the story. That is one of the most beautiful things I've seen in movie history. I love it. The Sword in the Stone is just a very fun film. It's clumsy, it's very funny. Like I said, the humor doesn't take place of the story. There's a nice story of King Arthur and becoming king and all that, and learning about yourself. There's a lot of that in there, but the humor is placed nicely throughout as not fillers, but fun additional moments. Arthur, aka Wart, is a very fun character. A lot of the humor is also coming from the wizard Merlin, who's very clumsy and just adds for a lot of hilarious lines. Also, Wart's adopted father and his brother are funny as well, so there's a lot of humor throughout. The movie is very charming. There is some emotional moments throughout that feel very natural. What I really like is the natural take on that era, the medieval era. It's something that I watched and really took in and really enjoyed. So going back and watching The Sword in the Stone and King Arthur, I still really enjoy that era, and looking at different aspects like the live action King Arthur and the animated King Arthur, The Sword in the Stone. They both have great things regarding that era very well. The Sword in the Stone is just a fun movie with some great musical moments. One of my favorites. I grew up watching it a lot of times, and I think I was honestly hooked to that era and that tone and the character and the wizard, just dealing with a lot of that. And then I was introduced to Robin Hood and the Black Cauldron, and so those things I really do like. So I'm gonna go ahead and give The Sword in the Stone an A-. That time period, the 60s, 70s-ish, Disney just knocked it out of the park with those movies. I want to see more of that book just open and just read me the story. It's beautiful. So thank you guys for watching my favorite Friday for The Sword in the Stone in preparation for King Arthur, starring Charlie Hunnam as the King Arthur. Are you guys excited to see King Arthur Legend of the Sword? Check out my review for that. The link will be down below for that. I got an early screening I saw last week. Still really enjoy it. Might actually see it again in theaters. So this is Just Watching Movies, once again with a favorite Friday. If you guys liking this series, comment down below with your thoughts on that. Give it a thumbs up if you like this video. You can also find my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram page, all in the link down below. This is Just Watching Movies, and you stay classy, YouTube.